All right, everyone. So let's go ahead and get into it here. We're going to walk through on how to build a watch list. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to make this video as quickly as possible without trying to overload you guys with too much information. Those of you that might be watching this in the course, anything like that, I'm probably going to go into a little bit more detail about how I do my process and what are the things I look for, and probably break down a little bit more detail when it comes to building watch lists and all that good stuff. So hang around for that. But for everyone else, we're just going to kind of just briefly just touch over how to build a watch list. And hopefully this will at least kind of begin to be the first steps of setting you guys up with success of being able to, trade more efficiently in the market and things like that. Okay. Let's kind of first off backpedal a little bit for those of you that don't know what a watch list is. A watch list for me is basically the stocks that I might be watching throughout the day. Um, Pretty much it'll be coming into pre-market or, being lasting, throughout opening bell all the way into the close and then kind of move on from there. So that's pretty much what a watch list is. The importance of having a watch list is like really fundamental, guys, because of the fact that one, you don't want to be going into the market unprepared. If you don't know what stocks to look for, how do you expect to trade successfully? Honestly, I don't know unless you're just going to be chasing like alerts or price action. I mean, which is fine if you're successful with doing that. No, I'm not knocking anyone that does that. But for me, I much rather increase my odds by coming into the market prepared, by building a watch list, knowing what to look for throughout the day, knowing what other traders are going to look for throughout the day, and be able to plan and execute, you know, one or two trades that might, set me up for success. And so I'm going to just try to walk you guys through this here with building a watch list so that you could be more successful with doing that. But that's basically what it is and, what this video is about. So if you already have your process of building your watch list, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to watch this video, go, do anything else. But the rest of you guys, if you could do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It just helps more people be able to see this video and also help them, to become better traders, which is great because the more liquidity that's in the market, the better it is for everyone. So don't be stingy. Share it with a friend, things like that. Okay, or anyone who's trying to learn how to trade stocks. But let's go ahead and dive into it. And again, this is a very short and simple thing that I'm going to do here because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want you guys to be able to get the good walkthrough there. Okay, so one of the first things I look for is volume and percentage change because this is typically the first initial signs of possible pre-market action into the next day. Now, today is Sunday, so the way I'm walking through this for you guys here, just pretend it's like, after hours, or let's just say it is the weekend, because again, today is Sunday. We're going to just go start from scratch of building this watch list, and I'm going to walk you through each part of this step, okay? So if the first thing that I'm looking for is possible signs of pre-market action through volume and price percentage change, what do you think I'm going to be looking for? Of course, after hour movements from the previous trading day, which in this instance would be Friday. And this is another reason why I always tell you guys, hey, looking left is going to help you, move right. So let's go ahead and figure out how I do that. As far as like the way to find initial, volume percentage change and, you know, different things like that. One of the first things I do, aside from looking at the alerts that we have, one of the things that I do is look at the after hours volumes, which is going to be through here. So I pretty much go through like stockmarketwatch.com. Let's just say it's the end of the day, right? Market is closed, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't paying attention to anything or alerts or anything like that moving. But hey, here it is Sunday. I want to go trade the market, come Monday morning. What should I do? How do I start to look at the watch list? What stock should I be looking at? First thing I'm going to do is go to stockmarketwatch.com or thestockmarketwatch.com. And then what I'm going to do is look in after hours here. Okay. So that's what I'm going to click on. Of course, let me just refresh here for you. And this is typically what will pop up. This isn't the only way to do it. If you have another site that you might use that shows you after hours movements from the previous, day, then go ahead and do it. I just kind of go here because it's quickly direct. This is just one of the things that I look at. So let's kind of look at the stocks here. So you'll see here typically there's a bunch of top gaining stocks. And there's also top losing stocks. Depending on how you trade and what kind of trader you are, you might look at one or the other. You might look at both. As a bullish trader, I'm typically looking at this side, but I'm also looking at the losing stocks too to see if there's anything that might catch my eye, where I might want to try to jump into like some kind of bounce play opportunities or a dead cat bounce trading strategy opportunity. But mainly I'm going to be looking at, here. Now, what am I looking at here? First thing that I'm looking at is trying to find the volume leaders. I want to see who had like the most volume, you know, traded throughout the market. Next, after that, I'm going to be looking at price. I'm typically, for me, as you guys know, I'm looking to trade stocks between $1 to $20. Every now and then I might jump up to something else or a blue chip stock if, there's enough reason for me to kind of get into it, like if it's, a big price and a drop, and I think it's at a discount because I think it's a good company, or something drastic happens, things like that. Just kind of depending on what the catalyst is. But mainly, I'm looking for stocks in between that $1 and $20 mark. 30 if I'm really, feeling risky. But mainly that's what I'm looking for. So let's kind of take a look at this chart here and see what we're looking at. So SPINT might be one that has a decent amount of volume. Now, typically when it comes to the volume, guys, of course, we're in the bear market. Liquidity is low. We're starting the bear market, so you're not really going to see many volume spikes and all that good stuff. But what I'm gonna do another one and another one just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm looking for. I'll do it for the whole week actually this week, so you guys can see it. Refreshing in like real time and all that stuff. But mainly, what I like to see is anything that's traded with, I would say on the low end, maybe 1 million shares. But with liquidity being the way it is in this bear market and things like that, I'm willing to kind of push that down to maybe like 100,000. That might catch my eye. Um, of course, Friday doesn't really leave much for action, and this is Sunday, so probably wasn't much going on. But so automatically, you can eliminate a lot of these stocks here. But because it's such slim pickings, I'm gonna pull up SPINT. So let's go ahead and put that one on the list. And you know what? I'll do right here. This is actually the watch list for you guys today. So SPINT is going to be one of them. Has decent volume amongst a group of volume leaders for after hours, so it might catch eyes. Okay, it's within that price range, within the $1 to $20 price range, which is good. Um, MCY, I might look at MCY. We'll see, but it's okay volume. It's kind of high in price, and to be honest with you, unless I get something good, I'm not really gonna look at, not probably not might not keep that one. But then let's see, NTLA, $53 stock, a lot of good price movement. Uh, Not really. $50 is kind of up there for me. I wouldn't want to really enter a trade with $50. I mean, I could look at it and do some more digging. I'll look at other things that we're going to go over next, which is like the catalyst behind it and stuff like that. But I'm probably not going to throw that in there. ZUO, I'll look at that one. We'll take a look at that. Has a decent amount of volume there. Um, Not really going to look at SKYS, which is Skechers. It's kind of a bigger stock. Not really cared about it. Not going to look at that one. It's 205. And then we'll put AROC. All right. So that's pretty much on the top gainers what I'm looking at there. Just because they're the most volume leaders in there. Now, provided this was like another bull market that we were in or something like that, and normally I wouldn't probably really look at any of these any of these stocks that we looked at right here, just because they're not really high value. But again, in this market, you can't be picky, especially as a bull trader, because you're trying to go against the market. But that's fine. Looking at the losing stocks, mm, not really seeing nothing that looks interesting, especially since they're all falling. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm looking at so far, stock wise. Okay, so that's one way. That's pretty much the first steps. It's just kind of looking at volume leaders and seeing what's there. Now, the next thing that you want to do, still looking at volume and percentage changes in stocks that possibly moved after hours. And you can also build a scanner if you want, guys, to kind of be able to detect this stuff. I just like to do this because, it's much more easier. I do have an after hour scanner that I share with the guys in the advanced trading course, but I usually, just do this just to kind of make it quick and easy and simple to find something that's going to work for, next day. So that's pretty much how you do that part. Now, also too, which another thing you can do if you guys have like Webull trading platform, let me get it pulled up here real quick so you guys can see it as well. You can also use this. This is another key thing I like to do as well too. So if you click on, if you open up Webull on your desktop, I also believe it might be on the mobile version as well too. I don't really use it on the mobile version that much, but if you click on markets right here, it'll bring you to pretty much this view. And if the markets, you can hit you can see pre-market, you can see after hours, and this is what you're going to do is basically look at after hours. If you're having trouble with it, just hit refresh right here, refresh data. It'll refresh it because sometimes it doesn't populate for some reason. Like all these platforms will be like stalled or whatever. But anyways, once you get that pulled up, you can take a look at some of these stocks here. Now, you guys know me, I don't like to trade sub penny or sub dollar stocks that much, but again, given in this market, you can't really be picky because there's still opportunity in there. You just got to understand how the stocks below a dollar might move. Okay, so WTRH, might be one to look at. Had a decent percentage gains, which is pretty good. Volume was 8 million, so I might throw that on the list just to look at it. GNS, which is Genius Group. Uh, yeah, I might take a look at that one, just to kind of see how it's looking. So we'll put that on there. And then the rest of these are kind of pretty much, below the percentage that I really care about. Percentage change isn't really that much of a factor to me. I mean, the higher the percentage change, the better, because that's especially if it's holding up, the more I'm assuming it's going to keep a continuous a bullish pattern. But, 10%, 15% really isn't that much. So pretty much once I start getting below that, I don't really care for the stock after that point. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we're looking at. I'm not really gonna look at. I mean, I guess I could put OMX on there. That'll be pretty much it. So right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks that we want to look at, just in general. Okay. And usually I gather more than this, but again, the market is slow, and then not much to kind of work with there. But I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of how to do that. All right. So now we got percentage changes, volume leaders of the after hours from the previous trading day, which is good. We got a little list to build up on here. Now we can move into the next step of what you want to do and how you're filtering out which of these stocks you're going to trade and want to look at. Okay. All right. So once we did that, the next thing we're going to do is look at the setups. And basically, it's going to look at the chart pattern of the stock and see if that price is actually holding. I'm going to show you guys how I do that, so you can kind of get understanding. And honestly, guys, this also too is how I'm picking and choosing which stocks I'm trading from the alerts throughout the day. If you don't have a trading strategy, this will not work. No, well, trading itself won't work. So if you don't have a trading strategy, I don't understand what you're doing anyways. But understand that you have to have some type of trading strategy, because if you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know how to enter and exit a trade because you have no trading strategy. But that's another video for another time, okay, on how to build that. But anyways, so I'm looking for setups after this point. Now I'm going to look for any patterns that are forming, and I'm looking for the price action to see if with the movement, if it's holding. Because a lot of times, especially after hours, stock prices are moving just because maybe, big shareholders are, liquidating their positions. Accumulation could be happening with probably like bigger banks, especially depending on the type of stocks that you trade. But it's little things that happen. But I want to look at that price action and see if that price is holding, because just like the alerts, and especially throughout the day, a lot of times the volume will shoot up, price will change, and then it'll drop right back down. And that's just people getting liquidated and things like that for whatever reason the market makers are taking them out and executing those orders. But this is what we're going to look for. Now let's walk through how to do that and look for the setups. So at this point, what I'm doing here is I'm going to be opening up um, Thinkorswim. And this is why I have multiple monitors, because I need to have the part where I'm looking for patterns and setups forming and price action holding versus my broker being open and me executing orders, whether you're using Webull, Lightspeed, Moomoo, or even Thinkorswim, or any other platform you might be using, Interactive Brokers, Trading 212 for you guys that might be trading international, all that good stuff. So that's a lot of times when you see traders with multiple monitors, this is what they're doing. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up Thinkorswim here. Let me pull it up. And so if you don't know with Thinkorswim, I like to do 9 as far as like my charts, and having them set up there, just because it gives me enough time to view, the stocks that I want to look. I mean, you can adjust this however you want. I did a whole video on how to, do all this stuff. So go back and look at those if you want. I'm not going to explain all that, but typically I'm looking at, 9 of these. Okay. So let's go ahead and get those stocks pulled up here that I had on the list. So SPINT. Oh, sorry, SPINT, SPNT. And then we had MCY. And then we had ZUO. Here, I'm just going to pull it up, keep it there on the side so I can view it. All right, ZUO. And then we have ROC. And then we have WTH. Or was it? Let me make sure I got it spelled right. Oh, it was on Webull. Let me pull it up here real quick. Oh, WTRH. I know I spelled it wrong. Voila. And then we had GNS. And then we had OMX. Now that was just on our initial, watch list. Now normally, again, I usually have a lot more stocks than this, and I'll show you another way that I look for other stocks to trade. And again, for those of you that are watching this in the course and stuff like that, I'm going to show you how to do the swing trade watch list for those of you who want to swing trade too. But let's just kind of focus on this right now. We could just fill this in with anything else. I'll say, let's just put something like, the SPY there. Kind of watch the SPY. Of course, you know about the SPY. You should know about the SPY, but if not, but whatever. And then we'll put something like just Tesla there. Okay. So that's pretty much what we're looking at here. Now, what am I looking at, when it comes to that? Like I said, any patterns that are forming, any price action that's holding. So let's take a look at what we have here. I want to kind of drop this down to the minute time frame since that's what I typically trade on. And we'll do that with all these. And I'm just kind of walking you guys through this, setup step by step. Or if you want, you can do it on TradingView one by one. You don't have to do it this way. I think TradingView did an update where you can have multiple stocks on there. I don't know, I haven't messed with it because again, I just kind of stick to what works for me, and just doing it on Thinkorswim works fine for me. I don't trade on Thinkorswim just because of execution and a variety of other things, but whatever. All right, so let's take a look here. What do you see throughout these chart patterns, huh? Let's kind of analyze each one of them and go through them. SPINT, I'm sorry, why I keep saying that? SPNT just pretty much has a price action. It's just an initial volume spike with that price action there. So not much volume, but that's there. So might still kind of look at it. MCY, not really much there. Just had that initial spike. A lot of green there, which is not too bad. Good risk to reward there. So maybe I'll want to keep it. I'll keep an eye on that too. ZUO, major price jump. Let's see, it ended at 715. Okay, so that looks pretty decent there too. AROC, not really impressed. There's probably a wall there. And then got WTRH. Looks pretty decent. So good volume, good price hold. Now, obviously, this is just a generalization, guys. Normally, my chart will have like the VWAP on it. It'll have MACD and all that good stuff, that I look for. But just kind of general off of this, you can kind of tell like, hey, this is probably a decent setup here. Might want to look at that, draw your lines and all that good stuff. However you do your trade, that's fine. I might initially look at the SPY. But I'm mostly just going to focus on individual stocks here. And then here's GNS, not really impressed, and then OMX, not really impressed. So really right now, to be honest with you, WTRH is really kind of the only one that looks remotely interesting to me out of that whole list that we have there. So that's perfectly fine. Now, again, this isn't the norm. This is very slow. So if you can kind of get an idea of what's going on from here, that's perfectly fine because as we're getting more volume and liquidity in the market, I'm going to show you guys how to do it, better. But right now, WTRH, I'm going to put a little asterisk by that because that's going to be one I want to kind of investigate the most. Now, let's say if there was other trades that were, or other stocks that were looking, decent setup kind of like this and good volume and good after hour movement, I would probably put a star by that as well too because I would want to investigate that a little bit more. But these right here, with no movement, no volume, they're probably just going to be on my back burner to kind of catch come opening bell. Okay. Now let's go into that next step. The next thing I'm going to do is look for catalysts. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to know what recent news came out with that stock. I want to know of possible upcoming news, and I want to know if there's any kind of sympathy plays that might come along with it. These are things that I'm looking for because I know if this happens, then that means coming into the pre-market and opening bell, that continuation has a possibility of happening. Okay. And again, these are just plays that you're going to watch. All right. So that when you come into the market next morning, you'll know why this is moving this way. You already know that other traders are looking at it and things like that. Okay. Um, so catalyst is the next thing you're gonna look for. Now, how do we find recent news? How do we find possible, upcoming news? How do we find sympathy plays? So many different ways to do that. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that because, you know, I mean, this pretty much, you know, going to be a long video if we do all that. And again, those of you that are watching this in the course, I'm going to go in that detail. But for those of you that aren't, here's just kind of like a generalization way to kind of do it. Um, you can pretty much go to like if you go to StockTwits and just type in the stock, you can kind of see what other traders and stuff like that are saying about the stock. Or you can search swaggy stocks. We're going to go into that next here. So like, let's just say for example WTH, right, or WTRH. And that understands. I mean, you um, so probably like a couple days ago, they kind of talked about launching, this home office delivery system thing. So that's probably what kind of sent that thing up, you know, after hours. And you also got like, the source of Business Wire. This is the one who's put out their article. So this right here is a good section to always check out. Um, you know, when you're researching stocks, that's a good, or just, pretty much look at what's being posted there because a lot of times other traders will post news and things like that about you know what the stock is doing and their thoughts and opinions on it. Take their opinions with a grain of salt, but if someone's posting like an article or something like that, and even those are sometimes pump and dumps too, but just kind of take a look at it, do a little bit of due diligence and research and things like that, and you can kind of take a look at that. Let's see if there was anything with SPNT, and you don't have to do this with just the stocks that you filtered out that had good volume and things like that. You can still look at the ones that had price action jump but no volume and see why that may have occurred. So you'll see here like SPNT latest news, you know, talks about the volume increase. They talked about, announcements from the third quarter a few days before that. So little things like that. And that could be, something that you kind of consider is your catalyst if you had something there. Okay. So those are pretty much all the things I look for. Now, if I want to find more stocks, let's say this watch list isn't enough. I'm like, hey, I want to find something else. Again, you can go to things like, swaggy stocks and look at, different things like, you go to stocks, you look at market sentiment stocks and things like that. You can find, what traders are talking about instead of having to scour, online forums and trying to find out what's more, what's the popular things coming up. You can look at short squeeze, stocks. You can look at potential earning calls, different things, hot penny stocks. I mean, there's so many different ways to build a watch list. But again, finding volume leaders, percentage changers is how I look at them. First thing I do is I'm looking for what's moved after hours previous day. Then I go into looking at the catalyst, or I'm sorry, looking for this pattern setup. How is it moving after hours? Is it holding price? Is, things staying there? Then I go into researching catalysts and doing due diligence of, the stocks that I have on that list. And then usually after I'm done with that, I go into, looking for other stocks. If there's nothing there like how it is today, I'm going to go find other things like, I'm going to do some more research on some more stocks or some more sectors that might be leading. And then throughout the day, I'm keeping those on my radar. And again, I usually have this set up here on another screen. So as the stocks are moving throughout the day, I'm watching to see if it's, hitting any potential, possibilities of the setups that I'm looking for, which could be a numerous amount of things depending on how you trade. Like for me, I might be looking at it, is it bouncing along the VWAP? Is it, doing a dead cat bounce? Is it doing an ascending triangle? Is it forming a cup and handle? because all these stocks are moving at the same time, real time. So you need to be able to decipher, hey, which pattern am I looking for that I want to trade that fits me as a trader? And then when you find that pattern, how are you executing your trading strategy? Do you have your entries and exits, your risk to reward, where you're taking your profits and where you're cutting your losses and things like that? That's it, guys. That's trading in a nutshell. And I'm doing this throughout the day as alerts are coming in that we all get, the alerts from the from the alerts channel. I'm typing in that stock. Oh, what did you say? You said, there was an alert for, PAOC. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull up PAOC and I'm gonna, see if the stock changed or something like that, or POAC. Maybe I spelled it wrong, whatever. Or just, anything. Doesn't matter. Let's just say uh, SKYH. Okay. Well, I'm going to look at that stock. Did it move anything? So little things like that. Oh, another alert comes in from another stock. Because 9 times out of 10 is going to be something like a volume spike or, some news about it that came out. Oh, what did you say? Apple, launched a new iPhone that's invisible or something like that or whatever. AAPL. Okay, great. Let's go and look at Apple. Whatever. That's just pretty much it. And then if the news interests me enough or if it keeps getting, alerted, then I'm going to, keep an eye on it and wait for my, setup. I'm not going to force it to trade. I can't make the stock move the way I want it to move. I got to watch how other traders are reacting to it and then just plan on when I'm going to get in and when I'm going to get out. That's really it in a nutshell. Okay. So guys, I hope this video helped you out on how to build a watch list. You don't have to do it this way. You can find out different ways to do it. I know other traders who do other things. They might look at, leading biopharma stocks that come up. They might research SEC forums. They might look at insider trading, a few different things, okay? But I want you guys just to kind of know that this is a good way to kind of start as far as getting the habit of building your watch list. And you should be doing this as a trader every single day before you come into the market. As soon as after hours is over with, this is the process I'm doing late at night, getting it out to you guys on the watch list and the newsletters and all that good stuff early in the morning so you can have this to start your day. Now that you have your watch list built, you got your chart set up coming into next morning, you can just open up your broker, sit there in pre-market, relax, wait for, look at the movement throughout the stock, find something that's interesting to you, execute your trades. Should probably take you, X amount of time, however it fits for you as a trader. Boom, you get in, you get out, you go on about your day. Now you're a couple hundred thousands of dollars richer. Okay. However much you trade with your risk management, whether it's $100, whether it's $10, whether it's $1,000, doesn't matter. But at least now you do that, and you just repeat this pattern day in and day out. Once you execute your trade, let the day be over. Walk away from your desk, come back after hours, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and do the same process again. And you're gonna do this day after day after day after day. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and you become a more better trader. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Again, the rest of you that are watching this in the course, stay tuned because we're going to go into some more details on other ways to kind of research stocks, and we'll, build up from there. So if you guys have any questions about anything, just, shoot me an email, message me, hit me up in the Facebook group, whatever. And, if you want me to look at your watch list, I'll be more than happy to, help you out. Or if you, have some ideas you want to bounce off me as far as like what you're, doing and how to build a watch list and all that good stuff, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Whatever I can do to help you improve, just let me know. But other than that, stay green.